What is up, FBG fam? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. So in today's video, I thought it would be the perfect time to showcase the Raiden Shogun double crowned. I did double crown her recently on stream and I have not done a video on her just yet for it. So I thought this would be a great time to do it. Now, if you're wondering, I've crowned the elemental burst and now I have crowned the elemental skill, and I already know I'm going to get the question asked in the comments down below if the elemental skill is worth crowning, and I don't think so. If I'm being honest with you, I think you should save your crown and not use it on the elemental skill. If you're going to crown the Raiden Shogun at all, go ahead and use it on the elemental burst, and then save your crowns for other characters that you might be excited for in the future, or ones that you haven't crowned just yet that you have on your account right now, just because the elemental skill is not worth it. And I will be crowning the basic attack as well, if you're wondering, because the Raiden Shogun I will be triple crowning. She'll be my second triple crown character next to Hu Tao, and that's just because those two characters are my most favorite in the game, so I'm gonna triple crown them, right? But it's definitely not worth. Just do the elemental burst and then save for other characters that you might be excited for to come down the pipeline, or whatever the case may be. But I did want to go ahead and showcase it here in the Abyss because we did just get it reset not too long ago, and I figured let's go ahead and showcase it here. And if you're wondering about the stats, because I know I'm probably going to get some questions about my Raiden Shogun stats, just check out any other video on my channel where I showcase the Raiden Shogun and her stats, because they have remained the same since I built the Raiden Shogun, since the beginning when I obtained her. The artifacts, the stats, the weapons, the talents, except the talents, excuse me, except the talents, everything else has remained the same in terms of that. So you can check those other videos out and the stats are going to be exactly the same. If you're wondering, she is C6, just in case you're unaware. And yeah, that's basically it that you have to know about the Raiden Shogun stat wise. Now, like I mentioned, we are in the Abyss here, and this is floor 10, chamber 1. And I always pair the Raiden Shogun with Kazuha, Eula, and Zhongli for the most part when it comes to the Abyss, just because this combination, in my opinion, is just OP. And the reason being is because, of course, Eula and the Raiden Shogun are like two peas in a pod. They are like peanut butter and jelly. They are like whatever other combination, salt and pepper, whatever other combination you think works well together, that's Eula and the Raiden Shogun. I mean, they just synergize so really well that it's quite amazing. So those two I always have on the same team for the most part, and then I do have Kazuha because Kazuha is just a really good character. He's good for CCing, he's good for boosting the other team's attacks, he's good for support, he can do some decent damage himself. You know Kazuha, he's the man. Really good character. And then of course we have Zhongli. Zhongli provides a shield, Zhongli does a bit of debuffing, Zhongli can petrify. Zhongli's the man, right? No doubt about it, absolutely the man. And then on the other side, you can see I have Venti, Ganyu, Hu Tao, and Jean. Now, the reason why I do this combination is because I love Venti for the CCing capabilities, really nice, and he does some pretty good damage himself. Of course, we got Ganyu because she's just probably arguably one of the best characters in the game, and she can do literally everything. We have Hu Tao, which as you can see just melts enemies literally, so she's amazing, and she is self-sufficient with the heals. And then we have Jean, of course, for the healing. She can do some pretty good damage herself, and she can CC a little bit also. So we have Jean in the back pocket just in case we need to whip her out for whatever reason. But I usually go with these two teams. These are my two teams, like my go-to two teams when it comes to the Abyss, because they basically have everything that I need, and I don't have to really worry about too much until we get to floor 11. That's where I switch things up, just because of the healing that I need from the other characters. So the teams get switched up a little bit, but for the most part, when it comes to the Abyss, this is my go-to team, and it's just because these characters I have built out the most, right? But the Raiden Shogun, you'll see in these clips and in the video and the gameplay that she's doing some pretty good damage. The elemental skill, I really like the elemental skill because I think people kind of downplay it a little bit in terms of what it can do and its versatility and what it's able to apply the team in terms of support. So we all know that the elemental skill is able to come out, it's 100% uptime, it helps the other allies, excuse me, be able to do more damage. It does some coordinated attacks. It's really good, and it does some pretty decent damage as well. But what I think a lot of people don't actually realize when it comes to the Eye of Stormy Judgment, which is the elemental skill, and I think one of the best things about it is that the character who gains the Eye of Stormy Judgment will have their elemental burst damage increased based on the energy cost of the elemental burst during the eye's duration. Basically what that means is based off of the energy cost of your ally, when they do their elemental burst damage, it's going to be increased because of that if they have the elemental skill on, which is the Eye of Stormy Judgment, which is those coordinated attacks. So it also boosts the damage of your allies' elemental burst. It's incredible. This elemental skill does a lot. Once again, you don't need to crown it, but you definitely would want to level it up. And it just is so versatile, and it's so useful, it's so supporty, and once again, it does some decent damage itself. So I really like this elemental skill, and I think it's downplayed a little bit. I think people don't understand the full potential of this elemental skill, and I'm happy I crowned it. I absolutely love it. But once again, I'm going to be crowning the base attack on the Raiden Shogun, and that's just absurd. So you shouldn't be doing that. Anyways, when you take a look at the Raiden Shogun and what she's capable of in terms of the damage and what she's doing, of course, once again, this is C6. My Raiden Shogun is absolutely decked out with the Engulfing Lightning, but the Engulfing Lightning is R1. Keep that in mind. It's not R5, it's not R3, not R2, it's R1. But nonetheless, she still does some good damage. Not to mention, this team synergizes really well because I do have the Wolf Gravestone R5 on Eula. Now, this isn't a big flex that I'm doing right now. The Wolf Gravestone came around plenty of times, and it just so happened that I got R5, you know, when it was going for the Staff of Homa, and then I forget what the other weapon banner that it was on, but did get it R5. But what's really good about it being on Eula is that not only is it really good on Eula, but also you get the supporting capabilities of his passive, being able to buff the attack of your allies when that passive procs. So the Wolf Gravestone is just chef's kiss. Everybody knows about it. It's awesome. And now we're moving on to floor 11 here, and this is where things get a little dicey. This is where things need to switch up a little bit team wise, and as you can see what I'm doing here, this is why I wanted to show this clip. It's just checking the floors. Now obviously, you know, most people, especially veterans of the game, understand when you're doing the Abyss, you want to check the chambers to see who's in there. And what I'm really looking for, to be quite honest with you, is the amount of enemies first and foremost, and of course their element. Right now, I'm looking for the enemies because that really determines on what floor, or what half I should say, I'm going to put Venti on. Because the more enemies that there are, that's the one that I want to have Venti on for the CCing and to be able to group them all up. So that's what I'm looking for really as a priority, and then element afterwards. And as you can see, I did go ahead and throw the god Chi-Chi herself, the Cryo Archon, on the team for this one because she's just really useful. As you can see, I have Jean as the healer, and then Hu Tao is just self-sufficient on her own, so I don't have to worry about Hu Tao. It's really just the other characters, Venti and Ganyu. I want to make sure they're topped up, so you'll see that I will consistently take Jean out just to do her elemental skill, so that way I get the energy back for her. So that way I can make sure that I have Jean's elemental burst always ready to go, or at least really close to being ready to go, because Jean's elemental burst is just really good for healing. Just in case you don't know, it's an insta heal, it's fantastic, and it does damage. So I want to make sure that I have Jean ready, especially for this floor 11, and have her elemental burst ready to go almost at all times if I can. And then as you can see right here, Venti went down early. I guess this is like post commentary on this clip and not so much a Raiden Shogun showcase per se for Double Crown. Let me know if you guys like this. I don't know. Let me know if you like this post commentary. But as you can see, Venti went down, and you know, normally what I can do is I could just reset, right? I can just reset because we're on the first chamber. We're not that far into it. Still the first half. It's not like it's the second half. But I'm like, you know what? We're rocking with it. I don't know why I went in with that mindset, but I'm like, we're rocking with it. Let's see if we can complete this without Venti. And so you'll see how it goes moving forward. So now we're on the second half. We got through the first half. Venti went down. That's quite unfortunate. And now we have the second half, and I always like to start out with Kazuha with that elemental skill to do the elemental burst right into Zhongli, so we can petrify, keep them together, put the shield on so that way we're protected. I don't have to worry about too much. Pop that elemental burst right away because I just want that shield off this mage, and I want to just get that mage out of here because the mages are the most burdensome, annoying enemies to deal with, at least one of them. And so I want those guys out of the way right away. So I did the elemental burst, went right into getting that guy taken care of. And now we're back into our rotations because now I'm just focused on getting stacks, right? Because to be honest with you, the Raiden Shogun on this floor, floor 11, is going to be my main DPS. So I just want to get stacks going. So that way when I do pop her elemental burst, because I'm going to be doing it often, I want it to be doing max damage. And you can see that I get the elemental burst with the Raiden Shogun quite consistently and really quickly also. Once again, back to rinse and repeat, making sure I always have that shield on. That's super important for me. I always want to make sure I have that shield on so I'm not taking damage. I got Chi-Chi out here just staring at that enemy because I thought I had the elemental skill ready to go. That's one thing you always have to keep an eye on is your elemental skills. Make sure they're ready. Make sure you're not waiting on a timer because you can sit there looking at the enemy stupid like I was. And then we're going right back with the Kazuha, getting them grouped together. I don't want them to be apart. As you can see, my Kazuha is getting a little low on health. I popped the shield as quick as possible on Zhongli, and then I did the elemental burst, the elemental skill. I'm like, I need healing right away. I noticed Zhongli had his elemental burst ready, so I'm like, let's go ahead and pop that. Petrify this guy, kind of stop him from doing what he's wanting to do. And then I know I should have went for this Dendro character doing all that stuff, the Dendro enemy, because they can get in your way and stop you from doing what you want to do. But nonetheless, we were able to AoE it down, and we got that taken care of. And now we're moving on to the next floor. So we're going to move on to the next chamber here. Chamber 2. And remember, we're down a Venti. I decided not to go ahead and start it over. And we're going to go right into it. Venti down. I kind of hesitated there in the beginning. I'm kind of hesitating. This whole time I'm thinking, should I just restart? I'm like, nah, just F it. Let's just go with it. So I dropped the taunt down. I love dropping the taunt down because it keeps those guys focused. This is the floor right here that I wanted Venti. Because there's so many enemies here. And right now, I'm really regretting not restarting because I'm like, Venti would have been... This is why I put Venti on the first half, is because of all of these enemies. I could have grouped them up. This would have been easy. But then I'm thinking if I throw down a couple of taunts, and I have Ganyu, who has a nice AoE on the double charge shot, I'm thinking I can hit a lot of enemies. Hu Tao's elemental burst has some good AoE on it too. I was thinking I'm gonna be decently okay. I go ahead and heal up right away. I figured let's go ahead and try and get her elemental burst back as soon as possible. So let's get some energy. Also, when you're doing hits with Jean, you also get some health back as well with some basic attacks. I don't know if that's locked behind a constellation. I think that might be like C1 or C2. I could be mistaken. It could be in a passive. Not entirely too sure. But here we go with Hu Tao going in. I want this guy dead. I want him out of here. So you can see we hyper focus on him. And then we're going around. Now we're whizzing around the field. I'm Hu Tao. I got the elemental skill. It's time to do Hu Tao things. And that's just whiz around the field doing damage and applying the Blood Blossom to everybody because that does do tick damage. And not little tick damage. It does a lot of tick damage. Switching to Jean because we got to get that elemental burst going once again. Right back into Hu Tao. And now I'm thinking do damage. Do damage. Whiz around. Let's go ahead and apply the Blood Blossom. Get that guy out of here. And let's do Hu Tao things at this point. Also, I want Hu Tao's elemental burst ready to go so she can be self-sufficient. Now I got the Blood Blossom on a lot of enemies. So when we do the double charge shot for Ganyu, they're gonna cause elemental reactions. And as you can see, knock that floor out. It would have been much easier with Venti, but we got it done. So now I'm feeling pretty good. Now we're going to the second half, and I'm feeling pretty good about everything. We're gonna go ahead and group these guys up. We're going to go ahead and switch to Zhongli. You know, normal rotations. I think I was going to do the elemental burst, but I wasn't sure if I had it with Kazuha. So then I switched to Chi-Chi real quick. But went right back to Kazuha. Did the elemental burst, did the elemental skill. And then we did Zhongli's elemental burst right into Raiden Shogun's elemental burst. And now it's just, let's just mow them down. Let's just mow them down. You know, 30Ks, 20Ks. You love to see it. Right into Kazuha. I see Kazuha's health starting to get dangerously low. I see all my characters' health dangerously low. I need to pop out that Chi-Chi as soon as possible. Put the shield on so I don't take any more damage. Chi-Chi comes out. Chi-Chi does the elemental burst. Super solid. Now we're good. Now we're cooking. I'm not worried. I want to do the attacks with the characters that healths are low because they get their health back when they're attacking. We go right in. I see the elemental burst is ready for the Raiden Shogun. Game time. Absolute game time. I popped that elemental burst and I'm like, we got superconduct going because we got Chi-Chi's elemental skill. We got the elemental burst of Kazuha. Let's just go crazy right now, right? So that was the second chamber on the second half. So now we're moving on to, I think this is chamber 3, right? And now I'm thinking we can do this. We got this. I think with the crit again. I think I was here trying to decide. I'm like, let me just, because I want to maximize the damage. We don't have Venti. I'm like, let me maximize the damage if I possibly can. So we go ahead. Now we can't group these guys up, which is unfortunate. And I think this is where my time was slow because if I could have grouped these enemies up, I could have gotten a better time on this one, because it's difficult to deal with these enemies individually when they're spaced out. It's a lot easier to deal with them when they're close together. So I went ahead and popped the elemental burst on Hu Tao because I wanted some healing, but I thought I could do maximum damage with it as well. So then we take Ganyu out. I see Ganyu was getting close to dying, so I'm like, let me go ahead and pop Jean elemental burst. And then I did the elemental skill there, and I leave Jean out, so I make sure I get those energy back on Jean, and then I take Hu Tao out, and I figured let's just go crazy once again. You can see big damage right there, big AoE, Blood Blossom on all the enemies, so I'm like, Ganyu, time to shine. Ganyu comes out, and we got elemental reactions going. I can space it out, and now I want Jean's elemental burst back as soon as I possibly can, so I can heal up right away, and Jean cleans up. Very, very nice. No venti needed. Good stuff. I was super happy about that. And that was actually quicker than I thought it was. I thought that was, I didn't think I did it that quick. So then we come here, normal rotations, right? What we've been doing this whole time. I switched to the Raiden Shogun on accident. I meant to switch to Zhongli, and we got some frame droppage. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to fix the frame drop rate. I know that's been an issue in my videos and in my gameplay. I need to get just a better PC overall, which is what we're going to be doing here on the channel. So that's hopefully going to be coming here relatively soon. I mentioned this in streams. We're upgrading across the board. So we're going to be upgrading the content. We're going to be getting face cam going. We're going to be getting a lot of things going, and I cannot wait. And it's all because of your guys' support here on the channel. I don't know how I segue to this part of just once again showing my gratitude and thankfulness, but we're here now, and I'm just gonna soak in it. I'm just gonna soak in it. And maybe it's because I ran out of things to talk about, but that was a big 200, was it 224,000? I think it was. And cleaned house, absolutely cleaned house right there, and it was very nice. Anyways, guys, that was the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed, and once again, let me know if you like that post commentary of the Abyss. Let me know if you like my thought process on what I'm doing in each situation and how I go about it, and let me know if you would like to see more of that. I wouldn't mind doing it. It was kind of fun. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. That was a double crowned Raiden Shogun. I know there wasn't too much emphasis on that, and it was more just like kind of post commentary on what I was doing in the Abyss. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like what you saw. Thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it's your homie Cody GT, and I'm out. Bye, guys.